some interesting intel from Jordan Rodriguez, who covers LA teams, specifically the Rams for The Athletic. She tweeted that Rams owner Les Snead, GM, just kidding. GM opens his season-ending press conference today, unlike any I've seen, with an impassioned 3-minute-long monologue praising Raheem Morris, who's in the head coaching interview process, and why he deserves a shot before taking questions. Now, it certainly seems like Les Snead might be anticipating that his defensive coordinator is moving on. Raheem Morris does have an interview reportedly with the Seahawks today. Bump, what do we need to know about the Rams defensive coordinator?
First off, that's the homie right there. Les Snead saying, look, before we get this thing going, Morris deserves a shot.
Yeah.
So big ups, man. Way to support your boy. But Morris has been around for a long time, man. He's got college experience. Hofstra Cornell, was the D coordinator at K-State. Been in the league since, 2002. He's been the Bucs assistant. He was a head coach with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 2009 to 2011. 2009, they were 13-3. 2010, they were 10-6. In 2011, they were 4-2. Was also the wideout coach in ATL and the defensive coordinator. And when you look at the defenses when he was the head coach over there with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they were 27th overall in 2009. They were 30th when it comes to points allowed, 17th overall in 2010, 9th when it comes to points allowed, and 30th in 2011, 31st when it comes to points allowed. You look at what he did with the Atlanta Falcons in 2020. His team was 29th overall and 18th when it comes to takeaways. So you look at those stats in his defenses, you go, all right, well, those defenses were not performing. You look at the roster, you go, all right, well, they were just outmanned and outnumbered.
Can we dive more into that for just a second, though?
Yeah.
Because I know that that's where a lot of people are going to pause with Raheem Morris. The best Rams defense statistically we've seen over the last, I don't know how many years, was in 2020, the year before he got there. Now, granted, they didn't win the Super Bowl that year. They lost in the divisional round, but they were number one as a scoring defense in yards allowed. He has not fielded a top 10 defense.
No.
And I think that would be a common critique if people are just looking at points and yards.
Yeah, you got to look at his personnel. I mean, one, his quarterback when he was over there with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers was Josh Freeman. You guys remember him? Completed 54% of his passes. 10 touchdowns, 18 interceptions. You also saw Josh Johnson as a starter there. You saw Byron Leftwich as a starter there. You saw Dirk Johnson. I mean, he's a punter, but he got some attempts in. But what I'm saying is that there's been, when he was with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, there was no consistency and the talent just wasn't there. You look at his receivers. He had Kellen Winslow at the tight end spot. He had a couple good years. Sammy Strotter went to Oregon State, decent there. You just look at this roster, and this is not a championship type team, right? Here's a plus when it comes to Morris, though. He coaches in a 3-4 defense. Again, if you're trying to keep things similar out here, he can just come into this defense over here and say, all right, I've coached in this defense for years. I know exactly what it takes to utilize the guys that you already have here, and then I can bring over some more guys as well and try to help you out there. Also, what's important to look at is that, look, he's coaching under Sean McVay for the last couple of years. Say what you want to. Sean McVay has been a leader in this game since he was 30 years old 7 years ago when he took over as a head coach for the Los Angeles Rams. So you got to look at who he's been around as well. You look at him on paper, and I think that he's not going to be that attractive because you look at those major stats, you go, why would you do that? Last year, the Rams were 18th overall. They were 16th when it comes to third down conversions, allowing their opponents to convert 38% of the time. Red zone defense wasn't great, 56%. 15 takeaways, 30th in the league, and 19th when it comes to points allowed. There's nothing on paper that says that Morris is going to be the guy. Again, if you shift your thinking the way that we have the past couple of days, is he going to be the guy who can galvanize the team and get these dudes going? Does he know football? Most definitely he knows football. He wouldn't be in this league for 20 years if he didn't know ball. But he hasn't really been put in a situation that's advantageous to him, though. So you would be rolling the dice a little bit on Morris, rolling the dice in a sense that he doesn't have a track record of producing great defenses. But if you dive deeper, you see who he's been working with, then you say, all right, we should give him a chance. Also, let's not forget, the Rams were playing some some good football the second half of the season, man. And that defense was part of it. The offense led the charge, but the defense played some good ball too.
Yeah, good complimentary ball for the Rams. It's not like they were especially dominant on one side. I mean, like, there was a minute when Matthew Stafford, to begin the season, you were like, is Matthew Stafford low-key, like, one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL right now? And then things kind of evened out. Puka Nacua is still a phenomenal season. Nothing, that's not Raheem Morris, but yeah, just some nice complimentary football for the Rams this year. It is really good insight, though, at Bump, and I'm glad that you focused on that specifically. And you know what? Leading a top 5 unit defensive lead also doesn't settle people's minds, because that's what Dan Quinn did. So It's not like that would answer every question either, right? I mean, we opened the show today with the conversation we had for a reason, which was maybe the side of the ball that the coach comes from or like a specific track record doesn't matter, because is that what matters most to John Schneider? Probably not.
Nah, probably not.